and welcome. I'm Tracy Pa with the Midday News. Prime Minister James Marape has commended Member for Samarai-Mura, Hisi Henry Leonard, for his effort to economically empower people of his district with the acquisition of a vessel which will serve the district and the Greater Milne Bay province. Prime Minister Marape joined the member as well as the Minister for Planning, Governor for West New Britain, Member for Moresby Northwest, and several dignitaries to witness the launch of the ship late in the afternoon on Monday, 11th November 2024. The ship will operate both as a transport vessel serving the outer islands of the district into Alotau. Although Mr. Leonard has left the Marape government to join the opposition, PM Marape said during his address that government remains steadfast in supporting good endeavors from both sides of the House, such as the initiative taken by Mr. Leonard.
Government of the day is here to support good endeavors right across the park. And this is truly one good endeavor. Number one, this vessel has a potential to ferry people as far as Dobu and Russell Islands all the way into Alatau and for service delivery.
The Minister for Justice and Attorney General, Pilaniningi, has refuted claims in yesterday's dailies that the National Executive Council and Prime Minister James Marape were in contempt of court for breaching existing court orders by appointing Admiral Pili Polerara as PNGDF Commander and the promotion of Colonel Opa Larry to the rank of Brigadier General. When speaking to the media during a press conference yesterday in Port Moresby, Minister for Justice Pilaniningi said the court orders referred to in the papers were issued to prevent prejudice and preserve the status quo, pending the hearing and determination of the substantive appeal, which was pending determination. Niningi said on October 29, 2024, the Supreme Court set aside the National Court decision and remitted the matter back to the National Court for hearing by another judge, this time with Mark Goyna as a party. The handing down of the decision on 29 October 2024 with respect to the appeal amounted to a final determination of the matter. He said NEC and Prime Minister Marape respected the court orders in the past and continue to do so. The appointment of Admiral Polerara to the position of Commander of the PNGDF and the promotion of Colonel Larry to the rank of Brigadier General was done well after the Supreme Court concluded the substantive appeal. There is no other pending or stopping us from making necessary appointments.
So on this basis, we advised the defense and the Prime Minister to go ahead. The ceremonies has to be conducted, and the Defense Force got to do his constitutional duties. So there's no order. Our advice is, our opinion is that there is no order pending or stopping us to make necessary appointments.
Niningi congratulated Admiral Polerara and Colonel Larry on their respective appointments, saying their appointments were based on merit.
I want to call on the Defense Force officers and people down in the rank and files to give the current commander and his team the undivided loyalty and support, as they always do. And I wanted to thank, and I also congratulated the commander.
Formerly appointed Chief of the PNG Defense Force and newly promoted Rear Admiral Philip Polerara has vowed to take on an issue that has long plagued the Defense Force: alcohol. Upon promotion, Polerara highlighted the negative impacts alcohol has had on the organization.
To shed light on crucial issues affecting our military community. The negative impacts of alcohol consumption. Alcohol abuse impairs our readiness, jeopardizes our health, damages relationships, and undermines our effectiveness as one well-oiled functioning unit. It leads to disciplinary issues, health problems, and even tragic accidents. By addressing these issues head-on, we are not only safeguarding our own well-being, but also upholding our duty to protect and serve our country.
BSP Financial Group has reopened its waterfront branch, offering a new cashless, fully digital banking experience. Customers can now open accounts in minutes using tablets, apply for loans, and access life insurance and business banking services on site. ATMs provide cash withdrawals with deposit functions coming soon. This branch is part of BSP's plan to expand digital-first banking across the country, catering to customers' growing preference for mobile and online banking. To overseas news, Australians have paused to mark 106 years since the guns fell silent at the end of the First World War. The National Remembrance Day service in Canberra was one of many commemorations around the country. The Prime Minister attended the ceremony at the Australian War Memorial alongside the Governor-General, who delivered the commemorative address.
Silent on this day over a century ago. Today, the nation fell silent at the 11th hour. On the first Remembrance Day in 1919, the war to end all wars was being marked, the Governor-General acknowledging that day.
For them, the loss of war was a present sorrow, grieving the dead, offering prayers for the missing, tending to the wounded in body and spirit.
And all the Remembrance Days, the conflicts and the service since.
The Australian Defence Force is a modern force, upholding the greatest of Australian values, continuing the legacy of the service of generations past and demonstrating the very best of our nation.
At first light, Sydney's most famous icon was illuminated with the symbol of remembrance. That service remembering those who fought and died at dawn.
We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunsets glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields.
As the pipes echoed through the ceremony in Brisbane's Anzac Square, the echo of the First World War was still being heard by families present.
We had 5 of our uncles, great-uncles and great-grandfathers who served. 2 that we know of that died on the Western Front, both unknown. We don't know where their graves are.
Melbourne's Shrine of Remembrance marked Remembrance Day and its own 90th anniversary. People first gathering here on November 11, 1934.
So to be here at the Shrine on Remembrance Day obviously anchors us to what it means to remember service and sacrifice.
Around the country, a day to remember.
The New South Wales Police Force is set to get a huge pay rise. The police union is encouraging members to accept the offer, which would result in some officers receiving an almost $50,000 more per year. But the state government is still in pay negotiation with the nurses and public transport workers who are preparing for strike action this week.
The state government delivering good news in 2 sectors. For police, a historic pay bump of up to 40% over 4 years. The deal could mean an extra $47,000 a year for some officers.
It represents the most significant pay deal in over 30 years of policing, and it really does have generational change for our police officers.
We inherited more than 1,000 police short when we came into government, and unfortunately we are still bleeding police in this state.
The government says the entire pay boost will be funded by savings from within the policing budget, including bringing workers' compensation in-house.
It was the external company that was clipping the ticket along the way, and we've been able to bring that in-house and save those dollars.
In education, a report shows a significant increase in the availability of relief teachers.
Let me be clear. we have regained 500,000 hours of learning for our children in 12 months.
While the government's celebrating improvements for some workers, the health and transport sectors are gearing up for industrial action over pay. Nurses and midwives are set to walk off the job on Wednesday, and rail, bus and tram workers are threatening to suspend services on Thursday.
It's unacceptable because we know that without a proper pay increase, we will continue to lose nurses and midwives to other states, and our health system will suffer for that.
The opposition says the government is not doing enough to dissuade the disruptions.
This is a weak government that will not stand up to the unions, and the consequence of that is industrial chaos in New South Wales.
Some of the government's critics will say, well, this is ongoing and endless. We've worked really hard over 18 months, and for big workforces in our public sector, we've come to good agreements.
Oh, someone's dabbing, someone's dabbing.
Trying to maintain classroom decorum as negotiations continue.
In sports, Prime Minister James Marape has expressed great pride and gratitude to the PNG Kumuls for their brave efforts in the Pacific Championships, despite their defeat to the New Zealand Kiwis in the promotion relegation match held at the Comeback Stadium in Sydney on Sunday. Marape said the Kumuls' unwavering resilience in the face of a tough opponent showcased the team's dedication, heart and strength on the international stage. He acknowledged the efforts of Captain Rhys Martin, who led the team with great leadership and skill, and Nene McDonald, who delivered commendable performances. Prime Minister Marape underscored that the outcome of the game does not diminish the achievements of the Kumuls or the pride felt by Papua New Guineans. Prime Minister Marape extended his appreciation to the coaching staff, the support teams and the fans who continue to support the Kumuls' journey. He also highlighted the significance of matches like this in fostering growth within the team and preparing for future international competitions. Papua New Guinea will be hoping for a home advantage to help them rebound from defeat last month in Fiji when qualifying resumes in Oceania for the FIFA World Cup 26. PNG suffered a 3-1 defeat in their opening match at HFC Bank Stadium to New Caledonia and will face the considerable challenge of Fiji in their first match in Port Moresby on Thursday. Avoiding defeat against the Fijians will be imperative to keeping their hopes alive before they finish the group stage campaign against Solomon Islands 3 days later in what will be a significant challenge for the relatively new head coach. Captain Alvin Komolong is looking forward to a much-anticipated return to home soil and knows his side must up their game to have a chance of advancing to the semi-finals. That's the news update. Join us for more at 6 tonight.